Hi guys, it's Summers. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a review. It is actually in a product that I did a video on, I think it was like 11 months ago or so, and it was on this NEEWER TT560 Speedlite. It is an on-camera flash that can be used off-camera as well, and I got a couple of questions on that video. I'm going to link it down below and probably put it off top as well, just because a lot of people were asking me how do you use that off camera because you didn't really show it on that video. That video was fairly new. I was just getting to, use this for the first time. I've never had an actual flash before, so I was just trying to figure it out myself as well. But I feel like now I think I know a little bit more and I can be a little bit more helped, even though surprisingly that video has helped a lot of people, which I'm really, really happy. But I just didn't think that I knew enough of what I was talking about at that point. But yeah, so I want to let you guys know that I'm still using it. I'm using it with my Canon T6i like I did on that video, but I'm also using it with my Canon 5D Mark IV. When I go out for photography sessions or anything like that. I actually ended up purchasing a second one as well, and it's been really nice because I can actually use the other one off camera. You do need two because one acts as the primary and the other one acts as the second one, and it just kind of follows along. You can have, I think, up to 3 or 2, I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, it can be this one plus 2, but they do take batteries, which is the only downfall, but they seem to last a long time. But other than that, it's just really, really nice. I think it's really bright. It has worked really well. You can definitely watch that video. I don't want to go to on all the details that I did mention in that video because this video is definitely not about that. But I did want to show you how you can actually use it off camera without having to purchase a second flash. So what I did is I went on Amazon as well, and I purchased a trigger and receiver also from NEEWER, and I did purchase 2 receivers. I could have gone with the trigger and 1 receiver, but I accidentally purchased this one, which I'm happy because I do have 2. And I'm going to show you guys how I have it mounted here. So basically, this is my Canon 5D Mark IV. This is the camera I take with me on all my photo shoots, and I have the trigger right here on the top. I'm going to show you more in detail how it looks from closer. We're also going to do some test how far we can actually use a trigger from. I think it's, I'm not sure if it's 10 feet or 16 feet or something like that, but I do want to test that out for you guys as much as my apartment lets me because it's a really small space. So anyways, I got this from Amazon, and the cost of 1 trigger, 2 receivers is $28.99, and it says it's a 16-channel wireless flash trigger and receiver. So it says it can be used with Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Sigma, Vivitar, and other flash units with universal hot shoe. I think I've used this with my Sony, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it did work. But I don't quote me on that 100%. But I can definitely update that on the description box after I'm done with the video, and I do test that if you guys are interested. So I'm super happy with this decision just because my camera is really heavy and my lens is heavy as well. So having having to put this really heavy flash on top of this, it was just too much for me. And there's some instances where I wanted the flash somewhere else, not in front of my objects or in front of my persons, and it's just really annoying. So I feel like I could get a lot more creative putting flash behind people, kind of making them stand out on any situation. I've seen that a lot in wedding photography, and that's just something I was looking for. So I ended up just going for this trigger and receiver. So basically, you have your trigger right here. It has this button on the top which can actually be pushed, and it can trigger the flash just from pushing this if you don't want to have it attached to the hot shoe. It does attach, like I said, on the hot shoe, and then it has, I think, 3 channels, 4 channels actually that you can put it on. So basically you can have multiple flashes and you can put them in different channels, and every time you switch this one to that channel, that's the one it will fire. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it there, but basically you have the channels right here. You have this if you want to connect it to a PC or to the flash itself, and then you have this button right here which also triggers. And then here on this side is a little on and off switch. It's kind of hard to see, but it's right there. I don't know if you can see it. So if you push it up, it's on. If you push it down, it's off. And it does say on and off on the back as well. So there it is. That is the trigger. So we're going to go ahead and attach it to our camera right here. Like I said, I'm using the Canon 5D Mark IV. You kind of have to push it a little bit. At first I thought it wouldn't fit, but it definitely does. So there we have it. That is the camera. So here we have the trigger as well. This one also has 4 channels. Right here says it has the power on and off. And then on the side, it also has this little button right here which you can connect to the trigger. And you can also connect it to a PC. Obviously the hot shoe, and then this right here goes onto your tripod or wherever you're standing it on. So here we have the flash, and I'm gonna go ahead and attach the receiver. So basically the flash goes right here on the hot shoe, and as you can see, it has 4 channels. I think I have them on 4 right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this. Right there. Okay, so I have my flash right here. I turn it on and put it on manual. And then my receiver is right here underneath it. It's connected to it, obviously. Every time you take a picture, you're gonna see this little button right here go off in red. I don't think it's, okay, there we go. And then I have it on channel 4, which I also have the trigger on channel 4. And then I obviously turned it on so it would work. Flash right here on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out so you guys can see. Please pardon the mess around me. And I'm turning my camera on. Okay, and I have the trigger connected to it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. It's on. Okay, I have them both set up with the same channel, and that's very important, obviously, because if it's not set up to the same channel, it's not gonna work. Basically, you're synchronizing which one you want to go off. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture. So obviously we can't, I mentioned this in my previous video, you can't have this on the LCD screen. It has to be on the viewfinder for it to work. I forget to mention that the receiver and triggers do not actually bring the batteries. I'm pretty sure one of them did. I think it was a trigger, but for the other ones, they do take, I think, 2 AAA batteries each. So I just wanted to mention that because if you are looking to like use this on the go as soon as you get it, I don't think you're gonna be able to. You actually need some batteries. So, we're seeing it go off right there. So what I did is I turned on my trigger, obviously, and put it to channel 4. And then I put my settings with my shutter speed. I think it's at 60, and then my ISO is at 200. If the shutter speed is anything higher than 250, I don't think it's gonna work with this particular camera. You can look up your camera, but roughly it's usually 200, 250 where it actually works. If not, it's gonna do like a split screen with like black on the top and white on the bottom. If that's happening to you, then you know the reason. You need to change your shutter speed. If you take multiple pictures back to back and they're really fast, your flash might not keep up to speed and might not fire each time. So just be careful, be mindful to like take your pictures and kind of like, you know, set up for what you want before you go ahead and flash the trigger, or trigger the flash, or flash the camera. I don't know. So anyways, I'm gonna go out and aim for whatever. I'm just gonna take whatever picture. Okay, and that's a little too bright, just because the flash I think is too high. So I'm turning it down just a little bit. And I think that looks way better. So I think I'm putting my shutter speed at 125 and putting my ISO at 320. And then taking a picture. And that actually looks pretty good. So obviously I have the flash very close to me. Now I want to put it way further and see if it actually fires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera back as much as I can. So you're coming with me. And I should take the camera with me because the microphone, oh my goodness, okay. The microphone is attached to me. And knowing me, I would probably pull and break something. Okay. Let's see if we can see the flash from here. We have the flash right there. I'm gonna try to put it in focus. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a picture. Went off. So I would say we're about like 8 feet from the flash. I'm gonna go ahead even further. So we're going very far now. I think this is definitely 16 feet. I don't know if you can still see it there, but we're gonna go ahead and take another picture. It's still working. Okay, we're looking good. Honestly, this is the first time that I'm actually trying this, so I'm kind of surprised myself. Okay, let's see. Okay. We're pretty far from it now. I don't know if you can see it, but that's a whole living room and dining room in the way. Hopefully you can't see like my whole mess to my house, but yeah, that's pretty impressive. Wow. So I'm just carrying the camera with me now. We're just gonna do it vlog style. I do have a tripod on it and it's pretty heavy, but it doesn't matter. So what we're doing is I'm gonna put the other flash, hopefully I do have batteries, I'm gonna put it on another tripod as well, and maybe just lay it somewhere. I don't think I have another tripod that I can use, but we're gonna see both, if both flashes fire, especially from far away. And then I'm gonna change the channels and see if I can just switch back and forth and easily change, easily fire whatever flash I want. So let's go ahead and do that. Receiver right here, I have it on channel 4, and I obviously turn it on. And then I have my flash on, and I'm gonna put it, we're gonna hit on mode here, and I'm gonna put it on M. Just because if I have it in S1, I actually wouldn't need a receiver and a trigger. But I do wanna show you this so you can actually use it. So basically, it's gonna act on its own now. They both are. And we're gonna try it first on the 4, see if they both fire, and then we're gonna try it switching the channels like I said. Okay, so I'm just gonna lay it here. Hopefully you can see it. I'm gonna do it like this. Hopefully you can just see it go off right here, just because I don't really have anywhere to put it. So let's go ahead and take a picture. Okay, I'm not seeing the second one go on, but it's definitely going. So I'm gonna change the mode to S1. And every second picture is going off. I don't know if you can see it. So oh, they both went off. Both went off. Nope. Both went off. Both went off. Both went off. Okay, so they're both working. So now I'm gonna change the channels. I'm gonna pull 4 down, and I'm gonna put 2 up. Okay. Right there. And then I'm gonna change the camera to 2. The camera trigger. And this one's a little tricky to show you just because it is so tight here. It's kind of hard. You basically just push them up and down. So, okay. So now, let's see. I have it on 2, so that one that's in the tripod shouldn't go off. It's on 2. I don't know what's going on. Oh, because, so now that I did that, this one is on slave mode. So we have to change it to manual, so it's the primary. That's where we went wrong. So make sure that you don't leave it on a slave because it has nothing to go off of. Okay, let's try it again. Still not working. Not sure what's going on here. It's definitely working. And it's definitely on 2. I don't know if it's because it's getting confused with the other one being in a manual. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this one off altogether. And it's still not working. That's so odd. I think there might be something wrong with this one, this particular flash, because, okay, well, let's try it the other way and find out, right? So I'm gonna put this one back on 4th. And then I'm gonna change this one to 2. And my camera's still on 2. And that's working. So there's something definitely wrong with my other flash. I'm not sure what it is. It might be the battery. Sometimes it's kind of iffy. Okay, so I will talk about this a little bit later, the fact that one didn't work, but I just don't want to get into it right now just because I want to do the demonstration part a lot faster. So what I'm doing now is I'm actually going to get a Canon flash that I have, and I'm going to see if that works with the triggers as well, because I do want to show you that you don't have to actually use newer flashes. If you have something at home, you can probably attach it to it as well. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, so here I have the Canon 430EX Speedlite 2, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the receiver on it. This one kind of locks here. It's not like a screw little thing. I have it on ETTL, and I'm gonna put my receiver on 4 like it was. Actually, I'm gonna put it on 2 just because the other one is on 2 now. And I'm just gonna keep this one like we had it, kind of like on the chair. It's not focusing at all. Okay, so I'm gonna put it on the chair right here. And we're gonna see if both of them work together. So I'm taking a picture now. So it's taking a picture every 3 pictures. So 1, 2 goes, 1, 2 goes, goes. Nope. It seems like it needs a little bit of time. It needs about 5 or 4 seconds to go, but it is working. They're both firing at the same time. So let's see if now, if I switch it to different channels, what would happen. So I'm gonna switch this one. I'm gonna leave this one on 2, lift the trigger in my camera on 2, and switch the newer to 4. And that way we'll find out if the other flash was actually the problem and what's happening. Okay, so I'm firing on 2. It's going. It's not going, not going, going. So every 2 pictures, it'll take 1. And then I'm gonna switch the trigger to 4 quickly, assuming we're like at an event and we have to do it fast. And 4 is going. The one right here. So as you can see, the newer, I find it very fast. It kind of surprised me for the price that I paid for this Canon Speedlite versus the one that I paid for the actual newer. Okay, so now I want to show you what would happen if you didn't really have the money to spend on trigger and receiver plus 2 flashes or anything like that, because I know starting out it just becomes a lot on all the things that you have to, you know, account for. So I want to show you, if you have 2 flashes at home, if you have two newer flashes like this one, how you can use them as primary and a slave with your camera without having to spend on the trigger and receiver. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the trigger off. I do have to remind myself to like turn this things off, just because they don't tend to like, you know, have a light on or anything, and the on and off is kind of like hidden as well. So I always forget like that's working. See, like I have to turn it off here, and I think the other one's attached to the other one, so I'm gonna leave it. But I'm gonna attach one of the flashes to the hot shoe on the camera, like I actually was using it on my other video if you have watched it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the mode on the back. I don't know if you can see it if it's too far. And I'm gonna have this one on manual. The one on the camera has to be on manual, and the one that's not on the camera is gonna go on S1, which is slave 1. So I'm just gonna click on mode, go to slave 1, okay? And now every time I fire my camera, it should fire both of them, okay? Yep, they're both going. Okay, so I wanted to give you guys my final thoughts on what I think of this flashes. I wanted to show you guys how you can use them as a trigger and a receiver without having to spend on on an actual trigger and receiver. And I also wanted to show you that I got from Neewer. I find this brand that they have a lot of things that are very inexpensive. Most of them are really good. Obviously, I'm still using this flashes. 10 months later, I ended up purchasing a second one, and I prefer them over my Canon flash as well. I do find that in some rare occasions, they're just not always accurate and reliable. Sometimes they have problems, like you saw, like that one flash just didn't want to fire for some reason, and number 2, that can happen a lot. I don't know if they like confuse each other. I don't know if there's some kind of, something going to the camera where it's getting confused. I'm not sure, but it kind of happens. I wouldn't say a lot, obviously, because I wouldn't be using it if they do, but I just wouldn't show up to like a wedding with one of these flashes. And if I do, I would probably have a backup plan. Like I would probably take 3 of my flashes, and if it doesn't work, then I would just roll with the Canon. But also the Canon does have that problem too. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I just don't have one advanced enough. They tend to be very expensive, and I'm just not at a place where I can spend $500, $1,000 on a flash. It's just not where I'm at. So these ones are just what I'm using right now, and they work really, really well. But just know that there might be, like, I just feel like one day I'm going to turn them on and they're just not going to work anymore. That's the kind of feeling I get from them. Not that they're gimmicky. You saw how well they work. They're very, very bright. I'm actually surprised of how much light these things can give. And I'm really happy with the trigger and receiver and how it works. It turns, like, obviously it works from really far away, and the signal's always there. I do find that sometimes, like when I'm you know, firing the flash, it just doesn't make sense how the camera goes. Like sometimes it flashes, doesn't flash for 2, flashes again. Sometimes it flashes all the time. I just really don't know, but I think it has to do with like how quick the camera is responsive. So yeah, those are my thoughts. You saw how slow it was with the Canon. Not that it's the receiver or trigger's fault. Maybe it is, maybe just a signal for Canon. Maybe they wired it to just, you know, work better with Canon products. I'm not sure. I'm just really talking over here. I just hope this video was helpful. I hope you make a decision if you are looking for something like this, if you wanted to use an off-camera flash. I did get that question a lot on my video, so I did want to make, you know, a follow-up video. And yeah, there's going to be a lot more videos off cameras. I do want to do a review of my new camera that I've been filming on the 80D. I also want to do a review on the 5D Mark IV because I ended up doing a review of my old camera. I did purchase a 6D Mark I, like the original, and I did a review on it saying how much I loved it, but I just could not get over how crappy the the focus was. It just, even with the back focus button, it just didn't work for me. I had to just go ahead and change it, and I've been using the 5D Mark IV, and I'm pretty sure this is my favorite camera of all time. Like, you cannot take a bad picture with this one. Also, if you came from my last video and you saw my model, I did want my puppy to make like an appearance in this video because everyone's always commenting how cute he is, and I really love it. I'm sorry that there weren't any pictures of my puppy on this one. Obviously, there were a lot of flashes going around, so I don't want that on his eyes. I don't even think he's around here. Theo, come on! Okay, so here he is. He wanted to say hi. He's on all my pictures in that last video, and honestly, I think it was so cute. The fact that he stayed and like was modeling, that was like a one-time thing. He doesn't do that all the time. And now he's older, so he doesn't even listen to me. So, but yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I am going to insert just a couple of shots. I don't know if I already did that, but I'm just going to try to do a couple of shots of like zooming in onto the actual product so you can actually see how they look like. Not sure on which order I'm going to put that when I edit. But thank you so much for watching. As always, please don't forget to subscribe below, like this video, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye. Okay, bye. Bye. Okay, so here we have the 2 receiver and the newer trigger. I'm going to go a little closer and show you guys like how it looks like. We have the hot shoe. Obviously, we have the on and off button, and then we have the 4 channels over here. So on the bottom, obviously connects to your tripod. We have the PC connection here. Oops. And then it did bring a little cable to connect to the trigger, but I did lose that. I'm not sure where it is. I'm sure it's just laying around with all of my other cables. I was having a little bit of trouble focusing there. So obviously this one goes onto the top of your camera on the hot shoe. And then here we have the 4 channels. And then we have that PC connector over here. And then on the other side, we have the on and off button. So as you can see, there's like no light telling you that it's on and off. You just kind of switch this up and down. And the channels are the same way. You kind of switch these up and down. The only thing I wish it was that it was a little easier to, you know, switch these when this is mounted onto your camera, because it becomes a little bit hard. So there you have the 3 of them. I do want to open them so you can see like where the batteries go. I think this one comes with a battery because it doesn't really take AA. I think it's like I think it's a watch battery that it comes with. And then this one, you just kind of take this little door down and you can see the 2 AAA batteries right there. So it's fairly easy. I'm going to go ahead and turn them all off and conclude this video. So there they are. I find this a really nice purchase. I'm happy that I have them, and I'm happy that I got to try it, especially with the 2 flashes who ended up being really nice as well.